Hey y'all, I'm back and we're gonna do read the commandments, a couple more commandments before we do the reading. Uh, where we stop off at. Um, we stopped off at taking the Lord's name in vain. Now we're gonna do remember the Sabbath day and to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. Okay, and for in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Then there's honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. I might as well continue because these are short. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, his maidservant, his ox, his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. That's all the commandments. I will be starting to read. I will read them every day. But that's it. That's all the commandments. But Jesus did add, love thy neighbor as you would want your neighbor to love you, or love thy neighbor as you do yourself. But some people don't like themselves. So do unto others as you would them do unto you. That's what it is. And we are on Esther chapter 8. Let's see how long it is. It's not real long. It's longer than the others, but it still ain't real long. So no need for seatbelts unless you're feeling antsy. Let's get started. On that day did the king Azarias give the house of Haman, the Jews, let's do that again. On that day did the king Azarias give the house of Haman the Jews enemy unto Esther the queen. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he had devised against the Jews. Then the king held out the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king, and said, If it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews which are in all the king's provinces. For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people? Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Then the king Azorius said unto Esther the queen and to Mordecai the Jew, Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid his hand upon the Jews. Write ye also for the Jews, as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name, and sealed with the king's ring, may no man reverse. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the 3rd month, that is, the month Sivan, on the 23rd day thereof, And it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews and to the lieutenants and to the deputies and rulers of the provinces which are from India unto Ethiopia, 127 provinces, unto every province according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing, and according to their language. And he wrote in the king Azorius' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by post on horseback and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries, wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, and to cause to perish all the people and province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. Upon one day in all provinces of King Azorius, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, and that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. So the post that rode upon mules and camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandment. And the decree was given at Shushan the palace. And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold, and with a garment of fine linen and purple. And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad. The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor. And in every province and in every city, whithersoever the king's commandment and the decree came, the Jews had joy and gladness, a feast, and a good day. And many of the people of the land became Jews, for the fear of the Jews fell upon them. All right, and that is it for Esther chapter 9. Remember to always ask God, not chapter 9, chapter 8. Remember to always ask God for understanding of anything I just read. I read yesterday and that I will read tomorrow. I am not a priest, a minister, a pastor, or anything of the sort. I am just a follower and reader of the Bible, learning and getting understanding from God, just as you are. So with that said, have a blessed day, and remember, God is. Walk with Jesus. Love you.